Over the last month or so, I've been attempting to be perhaps the dumbest and most tedious Subnautica challenge envisioned. The way that this challenge works is every 10 minutes I set the sea level to a random amount between -1,600 and 500. For this video I'll be trying to gather enough unique plants to fill 4 exterior planters, that's at least 24 seeds. And do be warned, there are a few late game spoilers in this video. This video did take a long time to make, so if you want to see more, feel free to let me know. This is how it went. Okay, so I'm going to start this with 10 minutes just at the regular sea level. My goal just for the first 10 minutes is maybe to get a flashlight, maybe a knife, those seem easy things to get. If I'm really lucky, maybe I'll get a few parts towards a sea moth or a sea glide. There will be a few different parts to this, namely of course is finding the seeds around the world, but I do of course also need to scan the planters themselves and just get a bit of equipment along the way to even allow collecting samples to be possible. We're at the most difficult part now, getting past the loading screen. Not sure quite what this has to do with making a herb garden, but why not? Damn rival gardeners. Okay, I'll start things as soon as I manage to put out the fire. Okay, and the timer has started. First things first, I'm just going to put away all of these items. I am playing this on freedom mode, so I do not need any water or food. I feel that food and water would mostly just be an annoyance rather than a real added part to the challenge. Okay, so to start I just want to get a few outcrops. And maybe scan a few resources if I am lucky. But that said, that doesn't really matter until later, and a lot of things are going to be pretty useless to me. Why are blastfish already an issue? I have picked up enough to make a battery, which I will need for a flashlight. Okay, this is almost half of the time gone now. Annoyingly, I'm trying to look around this wreckage, but I'm not sure I can actually find many things to scan here. I can at least make some silicone rubber and lubricant, which is used for a few things. Right, I made an O2 tank, and that also means I can make the high-capacity O2 tank whenever I get the right ingredients. Got about 3 minutes to go, really want to make the most out of this. One good idea might be to get a few bladderfish. You can use these to craft things that make you float up very fast. So if the sea level randomly goes up to like a really high amount, you might not need too much to get out of the situation. And this is brain coral. Brain coral produces oxygen. With that, I can stay alive in very deep oceans for quite a long time. It's just my last minute. Maybe get a few more bladderfish, other things like that. I can at least make a bit of fibre mesh. I may need that for a few things later on. And I might as well take a med kit. I'm not sure how high up I can be before a fool will actually kill me. Now, I think we stop, wait, and generate a random number. Again, I should really be setting things up before I start recording. I seem to have rolled -1,307, which is quite deep. Basically, that means the entire ocean is gone. Kind of ruins a game that literally has the title Subnautica. Well, believe it or not, that is the ocean completely gone. Oh, the fish seem okay at least. I think for kindness, I will change the time to day. It's just much easier to see, and of course, I get this brilliant view. Now that just looks bizarre. Not sure quite what those reflections on the floor are from. Well, I guess I'll try and get some resources. I seem to have stumbled into a giant coral tube. I'm not certain if blastfish will still come out and try to attack me or not. Oh, that doesn't look great. But the life pod's around 100 meters deep now. It seems to have fallen through the ground. I guess that maybe the life pod just sinks or rises to wherever the sea level has been adjusted to. But this does cause quite a few problems. Namely, I can no longer craft anything. So if I do die, I'm not quite sure where I will appear. Hopefully it's still on land and not like in the Lost River. He's sinking? Oh yes, he is, very slowly. I'm starting to question how ethical this mod is. I seem to be stuck on land. I'm hoping that's not going to be a constant issue. Grav traps I don't think I'm going to have much use out of, but if nothing else I can at least scan enough of them that I just get titanium rather than more progress. A sea glide will be very helpful. Again, beacons I'm not going to have to use, but at least if I get a few bacons? At least if I get a few bacons, I'll be able to scan them and just get lots of titanium. Well, I thought I found something there. Just some small coral. Oh, that's the mobile vehicle bay. That fragment could be very helpful for later on. That shadow makes it look like I'm just constantly taking a selfie. Ow, not sure what hurt me there, but okay. I just tripped over, it happens sometimes. To be fair, this guy is usually deep underwater. I'm not sure he quite has that much experience walking around on land. Ooh, oh, that's interesting though. Somehow I've managed to make my way to one of the other abandoned life pods. Ooh, ultra glide fins. They could be handy. Okay, this is interesting. I can't actually manage to get into the life pod. I didn't think this would be a challenge. Over 6 foot tall, this is a very new experience for me. Oh, that's a sea moth fragment. That's actually quite a lucky find. That brings me 1/3 of the way to getting that. We have just passed 10 minutes though. This is our second attempt to randomise the sea level. Thinking at this point I might actually change the maximum to 1000. It's only, in general, I just want this to be a lot more ranged. Okay, minus 636. That might mean I can actually see the ocean, but shouldn't be too near to me. This will still be on land. Increased foreign bacteria levels in the water. There's no water nearby, I'm not sure where you're getting that from. Wow, it's really weird to see the aurora like this. One problem might be tiger plants. They're these plants that kind of shoot these needles at you if you get too close. That is a tiger plant. I do not want to walk near that. That is also a tiger plant. I don't want to walk near that. Well, that's interesting. Radiation detected. I didn't actually know that it could reach out this far. Essentially, when you get too near to the aurora, you start taking damage without a radiation suit. Might actually make a radiation suit one of the items I need to craft, which I hadn't actually considered. That's 600 meters deep now. Not ideal. I'm not quite sure whether it's just a void underneath where you start, or whether it actually intersects with any of the deeper caves. I think you can break eggs by jumping on them. Oh gosh, where did you come from? Ooh, I realised I forgot to do the timer. In one of the earlier videos I did, I kept forgetting to turn off like a random number generator, similar to what I'm doing this time. I thought before I go into this that maybe I would have learnt my lesson. Oh, and is it not a blast fish, it's a crash fish. Oh no, that's going to bug me. Okay, I'm going to try and attack some acid mushrooms just as a way to get back. Oh, but annoyingly it's quite difficult to attack the acid mushrooms. Usually you get to aim your slices quite a lot better. Oh wow, that was an impressive shot. Okay, this should bring me back to the life pod, but I'm not quite sure where it is at this point. Well, okay, we do get to keep some resources. That's not a huge loss, but we have lost the brain coral sample, which brings us from having 1 plant to having 0. Oh wow, that's an interesting sight. I'm basically in a void. Will there be anything near here? Oh, what on earth is that? Hey, is this the Lost River? My word, I think it is. I'm not sure whether I'm ready to explore this, though. Just go back in the life pod now. It's safe here. Unfortunately, I imagine that if I go through a surface like this, I can't get back out. That said, I'm not sure. And here's a plan. Maybe I can just do deep dives, quickly gather a couple of materials, and then get back up. Oh my gosh, this is the alien lab. A little bit of quartz. That's okay. I know you don't keep all materials when you die, but at least you get a couple of them. And there are limestone outcrops down here, so I can at least get copper. Well, that's a ruby. Not sure if I actually need that right now, but at least it's there if I do need it. Oh, I do not like you. Regardless of whether or not I'm trying to drown, I'm not going to try fighting him. Wow, that looks bizarre. What on earth is going on? It's time to randomise again. I just got 962. It's unfortunate. That puts me about 1,500 meters below sea level. In general, with sparks flying everywhere and water seeping through the edge of the life pod, this doesn't feel like that safe a place to be. Now add to that the fact that I'm 1,600 meters down. Oh dear. Data indicates that swimming was my favourite activity. I don't actually think that's true at all. Once again, I've forgotten the timer. That's very typical. Okay, so you can see here I can make these flotation devices. And these, just as you can see, make you go up. I'm not quite sure how much. Oh, the seas change colour. I'm guessing I'm near some other type of cave. I noticed that the life pod seems to be vibrating quite a lot. A little bit like those weird beds you used to get in hotels. You could slot a coin in the side and they would kind of vibrate for a while. I think those are a thing. These newfangled life pods. Yeah, I went and got a cup of tea. If you get a cup of tea every time I need to wait 10 minutes, that might not be great. But amazingly, I seem to be back to land. Oh, didn't think this through. Not sure if there's any oxygen around here. Can replenish oxygen using the flotation devices as well, which is quite handy. Oh, that is some brain coral. I might be okay. Maybe? Oh, phew. Gosh, that was a close one. I must have been milliseconds off. Sure, there's a tactic some people use where they place planters and then just place a single brain coral inside them and use that as a kind of way to get really deep down while still quite early in the game. Don't quote me on that. That's another part of the mobile vehicle bay at least. Oh, that's a stalker. If I can survive this 30 seconds, I'm okay. Okay, now suddenly the life pod seems to be about 300 meters above me. This is going to become an issue. But we've managed to beat another 10 minutes. I'm quite impressed. I might just randomise things one more time, see where I'll be starting tomorrow, and maybe leave it for a day. It's probably going to take quite a while to beat. That said, I've just got 600 meters. Join me next time when I'll see if I can use a flotation device to get that high. Only the most exciting content. Okay, this is day 2. I'm back after doing some calculus. Also, I got some feedback from a recent video. The main thing to pick up is maybe not to use so many baby noises. I'm not sure whether I managed to edit them into this or not. It looks as if the sea level has reset back to 0. Oh, that's interesting. That's a stalker tooth. Stalker teeth essentially allow you to make enamelled glass, which is used in a few crafting recipes. Probably not any I'm going to make today, but there is a chance I can make maybe a Seamorph upgrade or something similar to that. Okay, I've done our first generation and I have minus roughly 800. Means that I will be in the air for a change. And there we go, a stalker tooth, pretty handy. Or a sandstone outcrop with some silver ore, that's actually really handy. I'm quite interested when we're first going to come across a leviathan and which one it will be. Ow, that hurt. If I'm not careful here, I might actually die. I need some company though, I can't really kill him. It's quite an interesting experience, but I'm stuck in a hole and I can't get out of it, which is interesting for Subnautica. I'm trying to find a way out, but unless I can like climb on Creepvine, I'm not sure I'm going to have any way to get out of this. It was already turning out to be one of my longer recordings, and it's definitely taken a long time to set up. So if this takes a while to come out, then just know that I'm sitting here doing absolutely nothing for 10 minutes in a pit. Okay, I've had enough. This is why I don't get on well with other people. I quickly attack them. Oh, I'm almost dead. This is not a good idea. Actually, I'm going to need to get rid of the stalker. If I don't, I could be in a lot of trouble. The scanner's dead body gives us something to do. That's why when you were young, Mum and Dad said you couldn't have a pet in the house. Okay, next generation. Minus 1,200. That's not any better. Okay, 153. That's good. 153 is really ideal. That's not that far up at all. I should be able to get to the surface without too much problem. We're going to try and use this and see how far this goes up. I might actually make multiple of these flotation devices. I'm not that sure how they work, so I apologise if that's a dumb idea, but hopefully that should be able to get me maybe a good 600 metres up or so. No clue where the life pod is. I'm assuming that's probably too deep to get at this point. Actually, one interesting tactic could be to go behind the Aurora. I know that sounds really stupid, but there are a lot of resources you can find there. It's probably a good time to try and look for the floating island. I'm trying to listen to see if there's any sounds that might give it away. The floating island has the exterior planter there. It's probably the best way to get it. Once I get the exterior planter, I can actually plant any seeds I collect, and that massively frees up any storage space. Plus, of course, it allows me to actually beat the challenge. If I need to do it at some point, I might as well do it now when I have the scanner and really get this started. I really don't like the water being this dark. It really feels like a Leviathan's going to come out at any second. This is 10 minutes. I'm going to change the sea level. Hopefully I get a low negative and just maybe fall where the island is. Oh, okay, minus 943. That means I'm going to fall incredibly deep and not survive. To be fair, I'm not quite sure what my plan was, but if I'm lucky, this could be just above where the island is. Oh, okay, I was miles off. Oh, I'm falling quite low. And I died. Okay, so it turns out I was completely off, and that was a complete waste of time. I can at least make another air bladder while I'm up here. That brings us back to land, at least. As far as I know, I might be wrong with this, but I think that if I look at the life pod, it won't sink below the ground. Oh, there it goes. Oh, come back. Okay, I've got my eye on it. I might be able to get back in. Last fish I don't think are going to come out. Oh, no. Oh, no. I did not think that this would be a problem. There's no water, but still. It's called a crash fish, isn't it? Not a blast fish. Or is it? I really don't trust myself. Looks quite pretty, though. The colours work quite well without water. The life pod, though, I'm not sure I can reach. Oh, free sandstone, though. That's really handy. I was actually considering at first doing this with a randomizer mod as well. That could be interesting. Let me know if you want to see something similar to that. Oh, so the life pod's managed to make its way back up somehow. Or radiation suit, that is something I will need. I've made a repair tool just for now, using the ingredients I have. That should at least help to repair the life pod and the radio. Gives me someone to talk to. I'm aware this is going quite slow at the moment, but I'm hoping maybe once I get the grow beds, it'll all just happen at once. I think I might have lost all my viewers by then, though. And there we go. That's the life pod back online. I'm just going to chuck a few things outside of the life pod. Realistically, I don't think I will need the repair tool again. Theoretically, I shouldn't get too much damage to the sea moth the way I'm using it, since I won't be going near any leviathans. That said, this is the 10 minutes up, but I'm near enough to the life pod that it won't matter what roll I get. And it's minus 355. I'm going to try and make my way over to the floating island. Not quite sure what direction I'm going in, but this should be okay. Oh, a sea glide. Is this all I need? Yes, finally. It took a while, but that's one new blueprint synthesized at least. I've just come up to one of the jelly shroom caves. Oh, that to me though, that looks like a sea moth fragment. Oh yes, that's 2 out of 3. Really good progress. No, 3 out of 3, I've got it. It's actually really hard to see over some of this grass. I didn't think that would be a problem. That's interesting though. I believe that this cave you can find eye stalks in. Yes, there they are. Those could be a really good plant to harvest. Oh, and spiked horngrass, both really important. Oh, that's interesting. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that this is where you get deep shrooms. Looking at this map I don't have permission to use, you can see the blood kelp zone just in the middle there. That's where I'm at. There was a little bit of the sparse reef with a small canyon that I was at a moment ago. Yeah, I just got the location completely wrong. Let's get a new sea height. Oh, minus 855. Not too bad at all. Okay, I'm very almost there now. Okay, that said, it has been 10 minutes. Okay, 422. Not too bad at all. It's quite high up to go. I know I am quite low down at this point. This biome isn't the nearest to the surface. Oh, okay, that's not ideal. I'm 600 meters below sea level. I'm not sure what that is. Okay, this is a bit of a worry. I'm at half of my oxygen and I'm still 200 meters below sea level. Hoping this won't end here. It's been a lot of effort. That said, I'm still 140 meters down and don't have enough oxygen. That is a pain. No, I was so close. Not quite sure where I am at the moment in the scheme of things. Possibly near the Lost River. I might be able to just about get to this jellyfruit cave. There's quite a lot of plants you can get in here. There are some resource deposits here as well.
Detecting an artificial.
Oh, that means I'm fairly near to the sea base. There's a few things that I can collect around there, and notably there is actually an exit to the cave just above it. Okay, so at this point I feel like I haven't made that much progress. I am basically at nothing. And it's been a good few hours recording. I feel that at this point it's fair that maybe I reset the sea level to 0 just for a short while. So I've got 10 minutes here just to relax and have things back to normal for a while. I think this is fair. I could, if nothing else, just sit in the live pod, randomize it for like an hour or so until eventually I get something that sets it back to 0. So I feel it's fair if I use this as a chance to just play it normally for a while. Well, I've got a laser cutter fragment. I'm going to really use this as a chance to just look for as many things as I can find on the way there and try and hopefully get to the island at the end. Well, that's not great. Those are bone sharks. That means wherever I am somewhere quite dangerous. Oh, and there, the first little chunk of land. This is brilliant. I'll have about probably 3 or 4 minutes by the time I get there to just get as many resources as I can. And after this, no more cheating, unless I get bored.
Multiple energy signatures.
Well, I'm not quite bothered to explore them. It's trying to get me on the path of looking for alien bases and things like that, but I'm not really that bothered. All I want is to retire with my nice herb garden. I'm sure that my audience of mostly 18 to 24-year-olds care for this. And there we go, the exterior grow bed. Absolutely brilliant. It was really like the start of the challenge. But I have finally now found the exterior grow bed. Now I can build that and start to make some progress. As you can see here, there are a lot of different plants I can find around here. The bulbo tree, grub basket, Chinese potato, marble melon. If I can get 6 or so, that should be really good. I said, I think I don't want to waste any time. I'm going to try and get as close to the life pod as I can. Okay, that's 10 minutes and I have paused. Let's randomize this and hope we're lucky. 679. Oh, it's going to be difficult to reach that high. This might be where I end this challenge. It'll be about 700 meters up I need to go. And a solar eclipse is just occurring. Quite a nice time for it. Well, at least this is a good way to end things if this is how things end. It's going to be difficult. I'll get the air bladders ready, but hopefully I can do it. Okay, 200 meters down, very low oxygen efficiency. As you can see, it's already down by about a quarter. Oh dear, I do not think this is going to work. This will take a bit of a miracle. This is going to be a close one. I don't think this is going to happen. Oh, I can see the sea level. This might happen. Oh, yes. I must have been milliseconds away from that, and I've forgotten to start the timer, just to ruin a good moment. Now this just gives me a little bit of time to make my way back to the life pod. It's quite deep. I may not even get there in the 10 minutes, but I'm hoping I can get as close as I possibly can. I've just generated our new sea level and it is down to 451. That's not much different from what it's currently at. I guess at least in the meantime I can start to craft some things and maybe I can even dive deep enough to get some materials. Well, I should have mentioned at this point, if you install the mod in the description, all you need to do is use sea level followed by the number to change the sea level to whatever you want it to be. It's maybe quite a tedious 10 minutes, but got to do something with my time. High capacity O2 tank is another thing that would definitely be worth making. That gives an insane increase in the amount of oxygen you can hold. So 10 minutes have passed, I need to randomize again, and we have minus 1,109. Well, that will make getting resources easy, but unfortunately it's quite a long drop. Not sure I will survive that. Well, that said, we're back to this again. Oh, there's our storage. So this is probably not going to work. Oh, okay, I've fallen through the ground. I have a feeling I'm going to end up in the Lost River. I'm not quite sure what that rectangle is. Oh, okay, no, so I'm going past the Lost River. Oh. Okay, I am now on fire. I did not want to be here, directly on top of the lava zone, and that is what's called a sea dragon. I do not like sea dragons. Oh my gosh. I'm not usually this deep down at this point in the game. I'm just going to not look at the sea dragon and pretend he's not here. Oh, please do not see me. Oh my gosh, he is getting close to me. I do not like this. Okay, he is coming right up to me. Oh my gosh. Oh, I am on fire. I do not like this at all. Please get me out of here. There's not enough urgency on my voice to know that I'm very scared. I can hear him, he is making a lot of noise. It's actually the lava castle, Jesus Christ. Oh, and he is following me. Oh my gosh, get off. Oh no, that's the most terrifying experience I've ever been through. I guess this gives me 7 minutes to make another cup of tea. Where did that filtered water come from? I don't remember dropping that. Oh no, please not a crash fish. Okay, typical, just got hurt by a crash fish. Okay, luckily at least I'm fairly nearby the large coral tube. I think this is the one I went to before. I should just have a minute to collect a few resources and make a bit of progress on a couple more valuable tools. The flashlight is finally coming in handy. I haven't really used it up to this point. Okay, it looks like it is time to randomize the sea level. I actually didn't think this through very much. I might drown if it goes particularly high. Okay, 517. Not too bad. That might be manageable to using the flotation devices just about get back to the sea level. There's one interesting thing with this challenge. Pretty much 90% of the time I'm deep enough that there's the added disadvantage that my oxygen goes down fast. Looks like I've run down a dead end. Okay, now we need to get back to the life pod. Okay, Mr. Sunbeam Man is pretty disappointed.
I didn't know how many of you.
He didn't know how many of us had fallen to the temptation of gardening. Because he's trying to park the Sunbeam, but there isn't any land here at all. Hold on, surely they could have parked the Sunbeam on top of the Aurora. But consider how small the island is. The Aurora's just a little bit bigger than that. Why didn't they just land the ship around there and wait for us to find a way up? Oh right, the radiation. Okay, I'll fill this waterproof locker with just a couple of other materials I don't really need. We're at 10 minutes and it's time to randomize again. Okay, I've spun again and this time I've got minus 377. Still so weird to see the Aurora just in the middle of the sky like this. Already diving off of a floating life pod straight through the ground into a massive underwater ocean already feels like such a normality. This time it's come quite close to the jellyfish room cave. Oh, there's one of the lockers. How did it get down here? Well, if I need lubricant, I guess I've got a big supply of it. That said, I don't think there's anything I need to take this time. It might just be a wise idea to drown and go back to the life pod. By this point, it should be near to the surface. It's been a little while, but the life pod has now fallen back to the surface. I'm hoping once again I'll just take this as a chance to get a few more resources. We're at minus 245, quite good. Admittedly, I think I've been quite lucky with these rolls. There haven't been many points where I haven't been able to reach the surface again. Take this as a chance to get a few of the earliest plants. It's like the blue palm count as big plants. They cover a 2x2 space. As you can see, other ones like acid mushrooms or even vein nettle just take up one space, so they're not really worth that much in the scheme of things. I need 4 of them to count as much as one of the larger plants. And these do all have to be unique, so I can't just stay here and harvest a load of these. I'm going to try and jump around the side, but this will be difficult. Oh, just about. Oh, of course, I've got that to greet me. Well, that's a whole fish. You don't tend to come across those, really. I think they're one of the rarest fish in the game. Actually, that could be a really good sequel to this, trying to get as many fish as I can in an aquarium. Now, who am I kidding? I'm not doing this again, ever. If I can get a sandstone outcrop, that should have a few things like gold, all of the things I need to make the habitat builder. I'm enjoying this, despite the fact it's kind of quite repetitive. Oh, I found it, the mobile vehicle bay. That's perfect. Finally, I've made a bit of progress. This is a pretty important item. With this, I can make the sea moth, and I'm hoping that I can use that to my advantage. Though I've just thought about it, another issue could be if the sea level increases by 600, the sea moth can only go so deep, so it will just crack into pieces. Actually, the more I'm thinking about this, I'm starting to realise that I haven't been thinking this through at all. Now I'm just looking for gold. If I can get that, I can complete the next step. But that said, I'm not finding much at the moment. Okay, I've spotted one, but it's too high up to reach. I've just randomised the sea level, and this time I've managed to get 196. That's quite ideal. I should be able to get this just about on the way up and then reach the sea surface again. Just about managed to get there okay. I feel maybe I'm getting a little bit better at this challenge. At least I can judge quite how high up I'm gonna go using one of the flotation devices, which I know isn't actually called that. I keep forgetting what it's called. Hopefully I can just get back to the life pod and I might leave it there for today. Oops, I accidentally reset the timer. Well, that's a new one. Okay, but I've managed to find the life pod. It's just about where the birds are.
There's no bad without the good, no good without the bad.
This guy really believes in me completing this challenge. Nice to have someone to support me. Oh, okay, I realised that I don't have any lubricant, although I did have some, but I've left that about 1,000 metres underneath the ground, so that's not ideal. Oh, I swear I said that I wouldn't need that as well. If I'm lucky, I might be close enough to the ground to manage to find some, but that said, I'm going to need some way to get oxygen. This won't be easy. But you get to see another solar eclipse, that's quite lucky. Oddly, the graphics for that look really bad when I'm just below sea level. But without further ado, I think I've done quite well for today, and we'll leave it again. I'm hoping that tomorrow will be the day that I beat this if I'm lucky, maybe not, who knows. Okay, this is day 3, I've just loaded up the game again. seem to be about 100 meters above sea level. Okay, right, so these are all of the plants I managed to get last time. Enough to fill an entire exterior grow bed. So I have made a computer chip. This is the first part to making the builder tool. I also have enough to make a wiring kit. It's enough to make the habitat builder. Just make sure I'm making the right thing. As you can see, I've managed to collect a whole load of titanium. This should be enough to build a good few grow beds. Best place to put this would definitely be near to the live pod. And there we go, the first grow bed made. Immediately put my first couple of plants in there. Puts me about 1/12 of the way to completing this. But at this rate, it will take me, what, 40 hours? I've got so much titanium, I might as well make an ingot while I'm ahead. I think that I will need that for a couple of recipes later on in the game. I actually thought this needed 4 titanium, but it turns out it just needs 2. That's, I think, 5 placed down. Challenge should now mostly just consist of going to some of the further off destinations, picking up a few plants and then coming back. This may sound like a bit of a crackpot scheme, but basically behind the Aurora there are quite a lot of power cells and batteries you can pick up. That could actually be a decent tactic to make progress on getting the seam off quite early on. Plus I still need batteries for a couple of other tools. Alright, even though I've just got 2 minutes left, I'm going to try and make my way there. I did forget about radiation, unfortunately. So never mind, I'm not going to go behind the Aurora. There aren't any batteries there, ignore me. What we need now is a radiation suit. A radiation suit needs a bit of lead and a few synthetic fibers to make. Okay, that said, this is pretty much 10 minutes gone by. Okay, we got minus 350. Again, I will have to wait for the life pod to sink back down to the ground level. But to pass the time, I think I'm going to play an interesting game where I try and jump off the side of the life pod and land on the planters. Never mind the actual challenge, we can beat that later. I am now on the ground, at least. Oh, it's landed on me. Our character is surprisingly strong. For now, while I've got the planters here, I think I will just see if I can plant the, Okay, there doesn't seem to be a button to transfer between the containers. That means basically, I cannot plant on land plants a grow bed if it's originally placed underwater. It's actually quite difficult to gather any resources. I'm trying to get as close as I can to the, Aurora, just to see if I can pick up a few, batteries in boxes and get some resources. Okay, I have died. I haven't quite managed to get far enough, unfortunately. Okay, this is unfortunate. The life pod has now fallen below the land. But this is really deep down. And there's our locker friend. Oh, lucky. There is 2 lead in here. I was correct with that. Actually puts us really, really close to getting the radiation suit. I feel like this may be quite hard to edit. Every few seconds I randomly fall through the ground or the sea level changes to the maximum. I just went to get a cup of tea. Where am I? Could have sworn the jellyshroom caves weren't this close a moment ago. Should really stop getting a cup of tea. Looked in the lockers and I seem to just about have enough materials to make the sea glide. Might not always increase my exploration range. I am on land half the time. This should just really help if I am low down and the flotation devices can't get me the full way up I need to go. If nothing else, I can use that to get the full way. Looking very romantic. Is he okay? He seems to be completely stationary. I wonder what he's staring at. Oh, the jellyshroom caves. Way to ruin the moment. Yeah, I just randomised the sea level again. This time I've got minus 230. I think that's just a small increase from what it's at currently. At least this gives me the chance to reach the jellyshroom caves. The sea doesn't seem to be that far above me at all. I think I might actually be able to reach the jellyshroom caves while still being able to breathe. He is unfortunately very, very close to me right now. Please stay away from me. So these are violet bows, I believe, and failed papyrus. Plus there's a cave bush here as well. That already makes 3 new seeds. There is some magnetite down here and a few similar resources. I don't think I really have much use of them. This is a weird sight, being in a jellyshroom cave on land. Can't really decide whether this is beautiful or annoying. Oh, actually, that's some red water as well. Red water is not that easy to come by. The difficulty is probably going to be actually getting out of this cave. We have quite a few gasopods down here. It's absolutely ruining the ecosystem. Guess at least that's something for the crab snakes to eat. Found another platform with a couple of resources on. Oh, a battery, that's actually quite good. Well, plus I've managed to find the second sea base. I'm not sure if there's actually anything I can get out of the sea base in particular. Right there, you can just about see it, is one of the exits. That's the one I usually use to get out of here. Unfortunately, there seems to be radiation here though. I did not know that these caves went that close. I think I'll try and get as close as I can, and once the 10 minutes are up, if the sea level goes up, I should be able to escape. Oh, okay, we seem to have got minus 488. I think that's quite a big decrease. This definitely means I'm not going to find a way out. That said, it is insane to see this without any water.
Picking up orbital transponder signature of trading vessel Sunbeam.
Yeah, that's interesting. So the Sunbeam seems to have just been shot down, I'm presuming? It's the first time I haven't actually been on the island when this occurs. Just for the last minute, I've made my way back to the sea base, since I know that there is a way to get out here. That said, I think we randomised the sea level. 10 minutes has pretty much gone by. Okay, and our next sea level? 150 is pretty much perfect. I should be able to float up and get out. Radiation could be an issue, especially considering I'm not on full health. Actually, I'm on about a third. It will still be about 400 meters perhaps. Okay, we've got 420 meters to go up, and radiation is unfortunately here. I cannot see anything at all, and I don't know which direction the aurora is in. Yeah, I need to move away from that. Well, fortunately I was only just in the radiation. You can see I've got a minute amount of health left, unfortunately. I was pretty lucky to get out of there. Right, for now though, I need to get back to the life pod. As you can see, I've managed to pick up 5 samples, which is almost an entire exterior grow bed. As long as I can get back to the life pod, this will be ideal. Plus, it's not too deep down, it's about 150 meters to go until I can actually plant it. Jesus Christ, I'm on like 1 health. If I was in that radiation for a second longer, I would have died. Where has the other planter with the actual plants gone? I'm a little bit worried that decreasing the sea level might destroy the water plants. I need to check to be sure though. Oh phew, luckily they seem to have fully grown. I just put one planter really far away from the others for some reason. With actually some really decent progress, this is a decent percentage of the challenge beat. Now there's probably not much I can do. I can try and gather a few resources, but being below 100 meters, my oxygen will go down quite fast. Okay, so here's our life pod. Seems to be stuck under the ground. Oh, and that is what's called a blast fish. Maybe I can just about sneak in the life pod before getting exploded. Oh gosh, okay, I seem to have died. This may be the first time anyone's ever died whilst inside a life pod. A good job I put down those plants before coming back to the life pod, otherwise that would have been all progress lost. Oh, he's a good singer. I think my next objective should be to get a radiation suit. That's been a problem a couple of times so far. Actually, I feel like there's a chance I could need the radiation suit to explore certain parts of the bulb zone. That's not an area I often go to, especially not early in the game. At least I'm fast enough to get away from a blast fish. Flash fish. I'll get it right someday. This is our next randomization, and I've just got 433. Okay, I'm hoping at this point the life pod will be outside of the ground. Every few seconds with the water height changing and trying to get back to the life pod, I keep forgetting what objective I'm actually after. At the moment I need a little bit of lead. Fortunately there seems to be some in the locker, which is currently quite near to my life pod for whatever reason. I'm just saying locker is definitely going to be the twist villain. My life pod seems to be vibrating to some sort of beat. I managed to get 2 lead and a fibre mesh, which I think is enough to make the radiation suit. Once these 10 minutes are up, if I'm lucky and get the right sea level, I'm going to try and make my way over to the aurora and place a planter just outside of it. There's a tiny amount of land there which you can just about walk on and place things on. You can see the water just going through the life pod there. I thought these things were supposed to be kind of sealed off, but maybe not. Again, 10 minutes have gone by. I reckon we randomise again. Ideally, I want to get something that's either negative or about 0. Oh my word, we got -11. -11 is really ideal. It's a shame I'm not using this time to explore one of the islands. At least although I cheated getting to that island, sort of, I would have got there at this point. But please don't go through the ground this time. Oh, okay, I did go through the ground, but only just. So this looks good. I could theoretically place planters here, but unfortunately I don't think these count as being on land. Yeah, I double checked just to see, and it doesn't seem like that's going to work. I'm not sure quite why that hurt me, but okay. I know that you can get similar mod for Subnautica Below Zero. If you would be interested in me doing a similar challenge in Below Zero, feel free to let me know and maybe I can make that happen. Though that said, this hasn't been that eventful. So here we go. With the radiation suit, I have now managed to get on top of this little bit of land. I'm unfortunately very, very close to a certain Leviathan. By the looks of it, I can definitely place this. There we go, a full 6 plants. It's great, that's actually like a quarter of the challenge beat. I mean, I thought that this was going to take me a long time, but this is quite comforting to finally make a little bit of progress. Though my tone of voice maybe doesn't quite convey my extreme excitement. And so, with a total of 5 plants from the Jellyshroom Caves, 6 from the floating island, and a few from the safe shallows, I thought that I would take a break from this nightmare of a challenge. This video did take a long time to record, but the second part is in the works. If you enjoyed this, feel free to leave a comment or a like. It really helps me know what kind of stuff you want to see. Otherwise, goodbye for now.